Okay, ready?
2, 1.
Action.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
That was deafening.
Hello.
So funny. You want me to clap? Hi, my name is Jarid Root, and this is my music video shoot for Locked and Loaded. When I was in high school, I was editor-in-chief of my journalism class. That was during 2019. That was when like a shooting was happening like almost every week. And I remember that the news was just constantly like...
Mass shootings. Over the past few years, they have become as regular in America as Star Wars movies.
Going off about it. Sitting at lunch one day and we were watching the news, and we were noticing that, you know, it was a shooting that happened in California and it kept getting closer and closer and closer to our area. And we were all like, you know, what if we're next? A few weeks later, we had actually gone on a hard lockdown and I was in my AP Lit class. And I remember being in my classroom under the desk with lights off and desks against the door and being like, I know we've done drills like this multiple times, but like this is actually a possibility and there could actually be somebody with a gun going into a classroom right now. It's a weird feeling when you're in it, having a shaky voice on the intercom say like, we're going on a hard lockdown. It's kind of like, holy shit, this isn't a drill. When this real stuff happens, when there are kids who hear bullets going off and seeing blood everywhere, like that's a major thing to deal with. So I wrote a whole story in my school paper about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna write a song about it. For a song and a video to come from somebody who's actually been in the school system when it was at its most awful state and most dangerous point, I kind of just want the video to spread awareness and to start the conversation about what we can actually do to stop it, because eventually it's young lives that are at stake that don't get the chance to grow up and make something of themselves.
I think it made me think of the truth of the situation. I know, at least in my past, that I've been through things like this, not necessarily a school shooting specifically, but definitely drills. So I think just the reality of it and how common it is and how, I guess I don't want to say normalized, but how common it is.
It's insanely common, yeah.
Yeah.
I was in my math class and like it was one of those days where someone had made a threat and everyone was like, it's fine, it's just an empty threat, whatever. And then someone pulled the fire alarm because, you know, sometimes in school shootings they pull the fire alarm to get people to leave the classrooms. And so I remember having like this huge panic attack and just being like freaked the fuck out because I was like terrified that was it.
The subject of school shootings and mass school shootings is huge, especially in modern day America. I mean, as an educator, as someone who does want to go into education, I've had to kind of walk into school and go to college and realize that, like, you know, one day it's not like I'm not going to be the kid anymore. If this happens to me, I'm the one that has to stand at the door. I'm the one that has to be comforting and I have to stay calm. This song wasn't like any other song. It's different, and that's important. The message is evident, it's not hidden. And it is one of those things that people, when it doesn't affect them, sometimes they do like to shrug it off. To have an artist come in and be like, hey, I really want to catch your attention with this, but not as an attention seeker, as someone who really cares, is something that I don't think is rare, but isn't very common. I'm grateful to have someone who's willing to put themselves forward as someone who wants to raise awareness.
360 of Jarid directing his music video. 111.
Oh my god, that was perfectly put in there. And right now you're getting on my last nerve. I said switch. I think that my highest point is when I feel like I've accomplished something, when I feel like I've done a good job. I would say the highest point is when I've either seen the footage or I've heard something in the song that I'm like, oh wow, this sounds together. Like, this looks really good, or this sounds really good. But I would say the low points would probably be when I feel like I'm either running out of time, or I feel like I'm not doing a very good job. And I think a lot of that comes down to, like, sometimes I spread myself a little too thin in too little of a time frame that I quite literally don't sleep. I'm so busy, like, chasing, like, wanting to get all this done, do such a good job, you know, and I would say that just like the insane workload to put it together is probably the lowest point. But it definitely is all worth it when it's finished, because I know that, especially with the team that I'm working with, they're all really hard workers, and I know that anything that they do and produce is going to be incredible. And they always help bring my vision to life, which is something I'm so thankful for. So it makes all the low times that I feel when I'm like, oh man, should I even really be doing this? Am I like wasting my time? But then I see the work at the end of the day, and the work that everyone else has been putting in, and it's like definitely worth it.
Happy moment. I think just seeing people and working with people again. I worked with Jarid and a lot of people that are sitting behind the camera that I'm looking at right now a few months ago, so it was nice kind of coming back. That's always fun to work with people and collaborate with a wonderful artist named Jarid Root.
Oh my goodness, have you heard of him? I loved wiping pizza off Jared's face. I loved also just seeing people that you know step into these like professional roles and like doing something so awesome and kick-ass that you're just sort of like,
they were walking around
quoting vines, and then they're just like, let me just fucking make art right here.
Yeah.
Let me put this focus.
To see some people I haven't seen since I graduated, and to work with them on something I didn't even think I would ever do a year ago, because I've just never done anything like this before 2-3 months ago, is crazy for me. And it makes me happy, and it makes me feel accomplished, and it really is something that's pieced me together in the past few months. Is something I enjoy and something I want to do, just because I kind of felt lost in the pandemic, and then everyone was like, hey, can you show up for this just once? We don't even know what we're going to do with you, but show up. And it really just became something I fell in love with really fast. And to be able to have the opportunity to safely do what I love, and have the opportunity to fall in love with it safely in a global pandemic was just crazy to me.
Dick Cheney made money off the Iraq War.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
And after me, while it's a Sabrina, it's vagina. We have Joey's fat cock.
One of my favorite aspects was probably the costume changes. I've put together all my costumes for the past videos, but I would say that out of all the ones we've shot so far, these are probably like through and through my favorite wardrobe combinations, because usually there's like some of them that I'm like, that could have been a little bit better, but like I tried a new thing with my hair for one of them.
I've been trying to do more like various like different things with my hair recently. I've been like the hair clips, you know, that's like a new one, but like I want to do like maybe little ponytails at some point
with like little hair clips and stuff, and that was probably my favorite outfit, along with like the rainbow pajamas. I had the idea to color code each person with their wardrobe, having Cameron be red and Lukas be yellow and Izzy be blue, Fallon pink, Laurel green. For a video with such a serious topic, it was kind of something lighter that was kind of fun. When you see the video, you're like, oh, like it's color coded, it's like a little rainbow. It kind of like framed their characters in a way, even though they don't have names, and it kind of like distinguishes each character for the viewers to see, you know, amongst all the stress. It's one of those things that's like, oh, that's nice.
Because I think fear is a very visceral emotion. Like that's not something you can just pull out of your ass, you know, like I think you know that if there's someone coming at you with a gun, like I think that's something that you think about enough as an American school goer. It's just sort of something, like when you fret over something that much, you've played it over a billion times in your head already, like just as a person. So then actually acting that out and like thinking on instinct is, yeah, it's on instinct. It's like, what am I gonna do to put something between me and that person?
Instead of feeling like I have to say something, it's more like I wanted to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like not all music needs to be like a complete downer, but it was just something that I was passionate about, and I think some of the best music comes from being passionate about what you're writing about. I just felt like if it came from a place that was personal, and if it also came from a spot of like relatability, that a lot of other kids who are going through the same thing would see the video and maybe listen to the song after seeing the video and be like, yo, I fucks with this because I relate to this and this is really cool. And I think if I talk about experiences that everyone else goes through, because we're all people at the end of the day, and that's really all I want, is for people to listen to my stuff and for people to be able to watch me, not to praise me, but to like get away or to relate, you know, because everyone has their own stuff going on, and art allows release. And so if I can allow release for a ton of people, then I've done my job.
You guys look amazing. Amazing.
This camera isn't.
Ah, okay. No.
Wow.
Who likes Meat Wallet? There.
Just pure vibes.
And all of that is said, you should go watch it if you want to.